Hey guys, welcome back to our channel where we talk about building and creating financial freedom, making money online, and building those multiple streams of income.
So if you resonate with that, and if you want to become part of the Freedom Creators, definitely subscribe to the channel.
Now, today we have another topic for you guys. We're going to get into it. So today's topic is the Etsy community toxic?
And we have come to the collective agreement that
Yes, it is.
Now, this is a disclaimer, a quick disclaimer. This is not everybody. There's people on Etsy who genuinely want to see each other do well and want to see other businesses win. But there are a few people, a loud, small group of people who do go out of their way to try to take down other shops and get one over on other shops. And they do that through a lot of call-out culture and telling and reporting. They make that kind of their job.
Mm-hmm. And as we said before, the majority of people on Etsy just want to do well and would want to see other people do well. But unfortunately, like you said, there's a group of people who they will kind of distract themselves. They will, whether it's subconsciously or not, they will distract themselves with other people's shops and other people's results and stuff like that. And maybe because Etsy has it so open where you can see the amount of sales that a particular shop is making or has made, people can easily get jealous. And, unfortunately, they can make that shop the target of their aggression or their bitterness, as like, especially in a scenario where they're not making as many sales as that particular shop. They're not making as many sales as they think that they should be. And so, people will start to hyper focus on other people's stores and other people's results instead of working on really trying to master their own shop and and blow up their business.
Exactly. One example of this was I was in a forum and I was just reading through it. And I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but Etsy has allowed shop owners to partner with companies. And so that means that you no longer have to just rely on being handmade or drawing or knitting or creating your clothes and basically your products by yourself. You can have companies helping you to do that. So that's print on demand, and that's an industry that we are in, that we really advocate. We talk about it in our course. It's made us an incredible amount of money in a short amount of time. Someone was actually complaining about that in one of these forums and saying, I'm handmade and it's so unfair and these people are coming and making all this money and it's just, Etsy's not what it used to be. And someone had to tell them, first of all, that's an advantage for you, that you can make so much money that way. And also just focus on making money. Stop complaining. It's never going to go back to what it was. Etsy's always going to keep going forward in this direction. Just take advantage. And to have to be told that too is really sad. You can tell this person was quite mean-spirited, but also very frustrated with, how they were doing.
That's true. Etsy sees the amount of money that places like eBay, places like Amazon are making, and it's not through, unfortunately, this kind of, I wouldn't call it outdated, but it's a very restricted model of business when you do handcrafted goods. The oftentimes production time can be a lot longer, and the amount of sales that can be made because of that lack of scalability. So Etsy is trying to make it wherein people can scale up a lot faster. And so, as to increase Etsy's revenue, because they make money every time you make sales,
Exactly.
right? Etsy's not going to try to make it harder for a seller to make sales. They're going to try to make it easier, and whether it means partnering with a production company and stuff like that, or a print on demand company, like they're going to keep going in that direction because that will yield Etsy more profits, and bring in a larger customer base.
Exactly. And I feel like the way that they did it, they keep their integrity still, because they did start as a handmade platform. And by allowing people to partner with companies, you still have some input into the design of your products, you're still involved in the creation of your products. If they really just wanted to make money and just they didn't really care anymore about their how they originally started with handmade stuff and creativity, they would just say drop shipping's allowed. Everyone just go ahead, grab stuff from all over the net and just sell it here. Who cares? Whatever. They didn't say that. They specifically made it so that you can have some sort of involvement with the company, so you can still be creative but efficient. And we think that's really cool. That's a really cool thing, and it leaves a lot of creativity, and it allows you to create a lot of products that you wouldn't have been able to otherwise. So one final thing that we did want to mention about the toxicity of the Etsy community at times is that it's not very realistic. Just the approach that people have towards their competition is not very realistic. Where on Etsy, if you report a store enough, you could potentially have them being punished. On other platforms like Shopify and Amazon, they actually thrive on competition. If you can't handle competition on Etsy, and Etsy's a great platform, it's so small. There's only like 2 million of us sellers compared to like 30 something million buyers. But if you ever want to transition to an Amazon or to a Shopify platform, you will find yourself struggling if you can't deal with what you've got going on right now. And that's because these platforms, they literally have like whole like spy tools, and there's tons of apps and downloadable Chrome extensions that you can use to spy on people's stores. This is Shopify, this is Amazon. You can literally copy people's funnels, copy their ads, their videos. So it gets worse the bigger you go, And there's so much money to be made on all these platforms, but the competition comes with it too, and so does the advanced technology to inspire copying. So if you and that's just competition for you, unfortunately. So if you can't handle your little competition on Etsy, we don't know what you're going to do in the real world when it comes to not to be condescending, but it doesn't get easier is what we're saying.
That's
so
true.
You need to know how to deal with that here and not be negative. And yeah.
So it feels so threatened as well.
Yeah.
To add to what you were saying, like, in in the real world, Loblaws can't stop, another grocery store from opening up. Trader Joe's can't stop another Whole Foods grocery store from deciding to go into the same niche. And we find that there's again, that small minority of sellers who they feel like that is the way to dominate a niche. Wherein they'll be like, hey, that store started after mine, and we all sell keychains or something like that. Let me start reporting these other stores and stuff like that so I can be the only keychain seller. And I know this doesn't apply to most people, so most of you guys, this isn't going to apply to you, of course. But there are unfortunately those people, and it doesn't make sense that way of going about it, because your keychains might not even be what the customers of a different store are even looking for. So even if you do manage to get that shop shut down, it's not to say that those customers that they've accumulated are going to start shopping from you.
That's true.
So
at the end of the day, ultimately, instead of focusing on trying to punish other shops or something like that, these people really just need to learn how to use the system, leverage Etsy, to get those sales, to get the views to their shop, improve their shop, because Etsy is very profitable. If you're doing it right, Etsy is incredibly profitable. There's no need to go around trying to, kick other sellers off the platform or try to, harass them or anything like that. There's no reason for that. And that's not what the majority of people do, fortunately, on Etsy.
Yes.
This is just that small few that we're talking to. But yeah, like ultimately, when you're focused on yourself and you're doing so well, you don't even notice. You don't even notice the competition.
You can't. You don't have time to.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree with you exactly with that. Like, and that's what we teach in our course. We teach ways on leveraging and really jump starting your Etsy store. You can stay tuned for more videos about this as well. We also have a blog. When you are, focusing on finding the best keywords for you, you're focused on targeting audiences that are lucrative, finding the best products, creating more inventory and stuff like that, taking up a lot of space on Etsy, and really just grinding and work in your store, you can potentially make, 5, 6 figures. You can do this easily with Etsy, and like if you're doing that, you're not going to have time to really notice, any competition.
You should be focusing not on your competition, but on your customer base, on your audience. Focus on your audience, focus on what they want, and you can really never lose. Like, that's what we've always been about in our physical business outside of the internet, and on our online business. We've always been super focused, hyper focused on what do our customers want, what are they into, what do they like, how can we create products that they love. And we've never really had an issue with competition. We've had people try to copy our store several times and they've fallen off just naturally. I don't know, it was the vibrations. I don't know. We're big on spirituality too, but don't worry about anybody, just worry about your customers, focus on them, and you can't really go wrong.
So that about wraps up this session. I hope that this video has, if anything, informed you about some troubles that you might run into.
Yeah, it's just the reality of being on a platform, selling online. You're gonna have all sorts of people there, and we're not trying to be negative about the platform. We actually really love Etsy. This is just one of our little gripes about it.
It's probably one of the worst drawbacks to Etsy, but there's not too many. It's generally a great
generally
platform.
People are very supportive, and a lot of people just don't care about their competition. They're not really focused on other people. Yeah, overall we still highly recommend it. It's still been one of the most profitable businesses for us.
So with that said, if you have any thoughts below, or if you have any thoughts, please comment below.
We want to know your thoughts about this, definitely, if you have any.
I'm sure if you're part of certain Etsy forums and stuff like that, you've seen similar behaviors or similar comments and stuff like that. Let us know what you think.